Are we good? Great. Good evening, everyone, and you're treated to a special finance meeting this evening. We only have 2 items on the agenda, but before we get underway, would you please join me in the pledge of allegiance? Councilman Keel? Councilman Crosby? Councilmember McLaren? Councilmember Vera? Councilmember Casey?
Present.
Councilmember Soriano? Here. All members of the Finance Committee are present. We have 2 items on the agenda. One, a resolution of the Troy City Council calling for an increase in aid funding and a resolution appointing Commissioner Deeds. On resolution 49, I would entertain a motion.
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second. Councilmember McLaren. Discussion on the resolution. The only question that was brought up to my attention was whether this is a template from the New York State Commission of Mayors, or if this is something that we directed ourselves, because the question that was posed to me involves the use of the mayor in legislation. According to the separation of powers, the council legislates and the mayor administers. Is there anyone from the administration who could answer that for us? Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Could you?
What's the question? The question was, and this was posed to me, whether this was a template resolution, word for word, that had been circulated among the members, or whether or not this was something that we drafted here, and if so, the use of the legislature and the mayor.
It's both. So
it's usually a separation of powers. That was the question.
it's both.
Is it a
New York Conference of Mayors requested mayors sign on to a letter, which is what I did.
right?
And then also said to mayors, it's a great idea having the legislative body pass the resolution.
Right. So I think
yeah.
then you already signed on to the
I
letter,
signed on, I'm requesting the council
right? So
also
would be
pass a resolution.
it would be a resolution of the council, not
And
not
that's
the
what it
council
says.
and the mayor. It's one.
Well,
or the
that's what it says. In there, it says the mayor sent a letter, signed a letter supporting.
I understand.
You know,
It's the title that was the
Oh.
problem.
okay,
Um,
whatever.
It's a question. When people ask questions, they want answers, and I appreciate the answer.
And we both supported, so
So this
Yeah.
was a template, word for word.
not
from
word for
tonight.
word. Okay, so why would we do word for word? We can certainly draft our own
Well,
renderings. So,
Sometimes.
Yeah.
This happens frequently among professional organizations.
it's a partnership, council
It
president.
certainly
Yes,
is,
it is.
and it's open
Beautiful.
communication.
Yes.
It certainly is.
Partnership.
It
Thank you.
certainly is. Thank you for that information. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 49 is approved. Resolution 50, resolution appointing commissioners of deeds for the city of Troy. Councilmember Soriento at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion? Motion. Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Keel. Discussion on the resolution. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this point in time. Motion from Councilmember Soriento, second.
Second.
Councilmember Brosnan, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
And so.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're going to get underway. I would ask everyone to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. There are some seats up front for those of you in the hall who are looking for seats. There are a few up front here. Please come forward, make yourself comfortable. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Keel. Councilmember Bratman. Councilmember Steen.
Present.
Councilmember Vera.
Present.
Councilmember Soriento.
Here.
Councilmember Casey.
Here.
Council President Steele.
Present.
All are present.
Thank you. We have, at this point, the opportunity for public forum. Does anyone wish to speak on any item on the agenda? There will be a public forum at the conclusion of the agenda in which you can speak on any item, but the first forum is just agenda-related matters. Jonna? We have a little mic difficulty, so we're gonna,
We got it, no difficulties here, so
we're
maybe just.
adapting.
There you go.
Jonna Favreau, 67 Exxon Sierra Ave. And I'm here again tonight, in support of the water infrastructure funding. Resolution that was passed 2 weeks ago, and that is now on the agenda this evening. And I also wanted to say, I believe in 2 weeks from now, Andrew Golden will be here giving us a public update on the lead service line replacement program. And I just wanted to bring up 2 concerns that I have so far with what's happening. I received the mailer this weekend that was sent out, and nowhere in there did it mention that this program was replacing lead service lines for free. And I think that's a really important factor to put in there, because residents or landlords, they might be concerned that if you're reporting this information, that they're going to be held liable for the replacement. Also, in that mailing, nowhere did it state that residents can receive free pitchers and filters for their water. And I think that is also a huge incentive that should be blasted everywhere to get residents to report this information. And so I'm just encouraging you guys to reach out, see who's creating these mailers, who can be putting this information out there so we can start getting more reports.
Thank you, Jonna.
Thank you.
Good points.
Why, well, I should-
Hi, good evening. My name is Rob Hayes. I'm the Director of Clean Water with Environmental Advocates New York. I live in Albany, but have been here a couple of times over the last year on the lead service line issue. And wanted to echo what John was saying about support for the water infrastructure resolution on your agenda tonight. In terms of some background of that resolution, Governor Hochul proposed her executive budget a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago in January. And unfortunately, one of the things included in that budget proposal is a 50% cut to clean water funding. It's a program called the Clean Water Infrastructure Act, and it gives out a lot of monies to local governments for things like water main repairs, sewage treatment plant upgrades, lead pipe replacement can be used, be done with this money. And so we're very, very concerned about these cuts from the governor, because we know here in Troy and in so many other cities across the state, how enormous the needs are to make sure that we're protecting clean water, that every resident has safe drinking water when they turn on the tap. This is not the year to be cutting clean water funding. It's going to put jobs at risk. And at the end of the day, it's going to, put more of the cost of this aging and failing infrastructure on local communities. And that's going to translate into higher water bills. So we're advocating this year for the state legislature and the governor to restore these cuts in the budget, bump that funding not only back up to its normal level of $500 million, but actually to increase it this year to $600 million, again, given how enormous that need is out there. And I think the resolution also calls out a need to dedicate a portion of this funding for lead pipe replacement, which would really benefit Troy and so many other cities as we're trying to replace all of these lead pipes, over the next few years. So thanks so much for putting forward this resolution and really looking forward to it moving forward tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hello, I'm Greg Campbell Cohen. I live in Mount Ida. I want to thank everybody here tonight for coming out to hear our public comments about lead pipes. It's very exciting to have such an audience. Rob covered most of what I would say. The only other thing on this resolution in particular that's kind of exciting, when this was drafted several months ago, the state of play has changed a little bit on the second portion of the resolution, which pertains to constitutionality of bonding for lead service line replacement. And just wanted to provide like a little bit of context there. A lot of like the traditional opposition is a strong word, but a lot of the groups that had originally raised concerns about the constitutionality of bonding have withdrawn those concerns or watered them down pretty considerably in the last month or two. And additionally, state agencies have come out expressing like almost certainty that it's fine, and the federal government has also just today released documents that shows that it's probably tax-free as well. So these kinds of resolutions, which substantially identical resolutions have now passed unanimously in Albany and Poughkeepsie as well. All of this stuff like really does work to keep the conversation going, keep it alive, keep it in the public eye. I just wanted to express gratitude to all of you for passing out our finances. Hopefully that's come out the right way.
Thank you for your advocacy as well. Any other comments?
Hi, I'm Lena. I've also been here a few times from Rensselaer. I just wanted to echo a lot of what's been said already. It's important that this resolution is taken up and passed. Right now, 48% of all the people in Troy has actually reported the lead line results or lead lines, which is extraordinary. It's the highest in the state. But we know that the last 52% will be the hardest. So we just want to keep focus on the fact that we need to not only find the money, do the job, but also keep a constant eye on this and also make sure that people are always being drawn into the conversation of reporting their lines. So thank you.
Thank you. And if I'm not mistaken, we have a fairly short window in which to complete that reporting of lead lines. So we really do need, although we've done a great job with 48%, we still have a long way to go in a very short period of time. So please spread the word to your neighbors. Are there any other folks who would like to make comments on our agenda tonight? Seeing none, then we'll move forward with our legislative address. I want to thank everyone for coming this evening and welcome you this is my first annual legislative address. As council president, I'm honored that you've joined my colleagues and me tonight as we look to the year ahead and all that we hope to accomplish for Troy residents and families. In addition to my colleagues here on the city council, I want to welcome Mayor Mantello, Deputy Mayor Donnelly, all the city employees who are here, our many residents, who are here in the chambers and those who are streaming online. Also want to welcome our county legislators. We have County Legislator Weaver, Fleming, Zaluski, and Casal. We have a great showing from the Rensselaer County Legislature. Thank you so much for being here. And we have with us also tonight, Colony Councilman Alvin Gamble. So thank you for joining us. Section C-34 of the Troy City Charter states that at the first March meeting of the council, following delivery of the State of the City report, the president of the council shall deliver a legislative response to the mayor's speech, which shall include our legislative initiatives for the year to come. This legislative address marks an historic moment in Troy's history, the first time two women have led our city's co-equal branches of government. It's an absolute honor to recognize this watershed moment in our city and to move it's watershed moment in our city, more than 200-year history. And I share my thoughts with you this evening. I've titled tonight's remarks, The People's Address, because it's not about me. It's about you, Troy's residents, business owners, community leaders, and families who make our community so very special. A unique, vibrant place to live, work, and raise a family. I realize the current city council has only been in office 67 days. For some, this is the first time holding the position, and we are learning our roles and responsibilities as civic representatives. Still, we can take pride in our accomplishments so far. We have held 5 confirmation hearings for the mayor's appointees, including city controller and our first ever female corporation counsel, Dana Salazar. We've passed a local law giving seniors much needed tax breaks, adopted nearly 50 ordinances and resolutions on a variety of issues, and we've initiated with the administration the process for the city of Troy to become a pro-housing community under Governor Hochul's push for increased housing opportunities statewide. In doing so, we've started to listen to each other's points of view and to consider them in taking action. That mutual respect and understanding is critical to building a foundation for a collaborative environment of the entire council. One I hope to continue to foster going forward. We were elected to represent our constituents, not a political party or our own interests. And as we legislate going forward, I hope we can collectively embrace that philosophy of common and united action on the important issues and challenges facing our community and residents. Tonight, I'll spotlight a few key initiatives that I intend to advance for consideration by the full council. Cleaner, safer, more accessible neighborhoods, investments in infrastructure, and community engagement. Cleaner, safer, more accessible neighborhoods begin with improved investment in our neighborhoods for a better quality of life. I want to commend the hardworking staff in our Public Works Department involved with the Mayor's Quality of Life Action Task Force, who are working tirelessly to clean our streets of trash and litter to provide a visibly cleaner environment. The Council's Neighborhood Improvement Program, known as NIP, goes a long way in offering incentives to neighbors to work together on a common project that improves their surroundings. Each year, the City Council approves 10 to 20,000 in NIP awards, and I encourage residents to apply for a NIP award this year and consider making your neighborhood even better. The previous council and administration invested millions in our city's parks and green spaces. Continuing that work throughout our city should be a goal of this council so that residents have recreational opportunities and green spaces near their homes to enjoy Troy in the outdoors. I agree with the mayor that Prospect Park is worthy of a master plan and investment. As we move forward with that, We need to ensure that we complete investing in other parks as outlined in the Parks Improvement Plan approved by the previous council. Beyond these actions, we must acknowledge that our city, like others, has a housing crisis. There aren't enough houses or housing options for everyone, and rents remain too high for many families and individuals living in our community. People who want to find housing here just can't. We need to address our housing shortage and develop strategies that expand housing options and increase the mix of income-based housing in order to move forward. We must provide a variety of housing options, such as ADUs, condos, and the like, as well as exploring tenant protections, enhanced code enforcement, and grant possibilities. Affordable and accessible housing is at the heart of one's quality of life. People need a safe, economical place to live and raise their family. When the cost of housing takes over 50% of one's take-home pay, then families are forced into living paycheck to paycheck. Only a single emergency away from homelessness. We need to take concrete steps as a local government to seek solutions for the housing challenges impacting Troy. Earlier this year, several of my council colleagues and I urged the establishment of a housing task force. Tonight, I am announcing that I will bring that proposal to the council for consideration in the coming weeks. The ultimate goal of this work group will be to create a strategic housing action plan, which will serve as a blueprint to provide solutions for infill development of existing buildings, as well as new affordable housing. The strategic housing action plan can be accomplished without any cost to the city, utilizing the expertise of nonprofits in our community. By bringing Trojans, business, and the nonprofit sector together toward a common goal, we will benefit from their collective wisdom, knowledge, and viewpoints. This will not be a task force with a vague agenda, but one that's time-limited and specific. We also have accomplished much to make our city safer for people of all abilities. Through the work of the federally funded CDBG program, sidewalk replacement work continues in certain neighborhoods of our city. I thank the planning and CDBG department staff involved in this important work. Each of you are critical to these efforts. However, there are still miles of residential sidewalks that need attention. Last month, the planning department updated the council on the citywide sidewalk assessment as part of the finalization of Troy's draft ADA transition plan. I'll be asking the General Services Committee to explore ways to assist residents in replacing deteriorated sidewalks. We need to consider options that assist residents in sidewalk repair and maintenance, either through grants or loans. We also should address the problem of sidewalks blocked by improperly parked cars. Whether you are a parent pushing a stroller, a person who uses a wheelchair or other mobility device, or someone who enjoys strolling through your neighborhood. Vehicles that block sidewalks create headaches for Trojans from all walks of life. They also force people into the street to walk around these obstructions, creating an unsafe situation for pedestrians. I urge the administration to step up enforcement of this small but critical quality of life issue to keep residents safe, including public messaging and inspection of illegal driveways and parking lots that block the public right of way, including sidewalks. As I mentioned earlier, accessibility is part of one's quality of life. All residents deserve to fully access and enjoy city resources free of barriers, both physical and operational. Therefore, I am recommending the creation of a disability advisory committee to the City Council. The committee would consist of members of the disability community, residents, and council members to help develop recommendations on how to improve accessibility throughout our city, our buildings, parks, public spaces, and the individual services we provide to residents. The committee would help the council generate recommendations on how we as a municipal government provide vital municipal services and communicate with the public. This committee would build on the ADA sidewalk survey and the draft ADA transition plan. We will also be working to schedule a public meeting to receive an update from the administration on the draft transition plan, so we can finally move this critical document across the finish line. I want to acknowledge and thank past and present staff members involved with the creation of this document, as well as the ADA advisory group members, including Denise Figueroa, Cliff Perez, and the late beloved former council member, Bob Dorff. Let's get this done. A city as old as ours suffers from aging infrastructure, be it water lines, streets, sidewalks, and sewer pipes. We can't fix everything at once, but must develop a plan to responsibly fund upgrades to our critical public utility assets. One area that particularly needs our unified attention is replacement of lead service lines as mandated by the EPA. I recently attended Leading on Lead Service Lines in New York, a symposium at the Rockefeller Institute of Government. And I wanted to commend Jonna Favreau, who is here with us tonight, for her heartfelt presentation there and for her work in bringing this critical issue to our city's attention. The City Council has committed to replacing lead service lines free to residents, which is a major objective. On top of that, the mayor has set the goal of completing this immense undertaking in her first term. As a council, we support those efforts, but acknowledge it will take a massive infusion of funds, either from state and federal aid or bonding, which is still a legal and constitutional question mark. As was noted at the symposium, it may take a courageous municipality to undertake a legal challenge in resolving whether public funds can indeed be used on private property. And perhaps Troy should lead the way. Ensuring the continued reliability of our city's drinking water system is also critical to the future vitality of our community. The previous administration and council initiated the replacement of a century-old water transmission line between our Tom Hannock Reservoir and the water treatment plant in Lansingburg to ensure the continued reliability of these lines that provide water to 135,000 customers in 3 Capital Region counties. I will be calling a meeting of the Finance Committee with the County Engineer / Commissioner of Public Utilities and Director of Infrastructure for an update on the Tom Hannock Water Transmission Project. This is one of our city's major infrastructure initiatives, and council members should be informed. We also need to look to the future on resiliency and energy efficiency. Climate change continues to present a real threat to our city and society. Severe storms can cause flooding, damage homes, and knock out power for thousands of Trojans. Our location along the Hudson River is a constant reminder of the awesome power of water and how it can disrupt and damage livelihoods. We as a city must continue to pursue climate-smart solutions that reduce our carbon footprint and limit our impact to the environment. We should be good stewards of our environment, but we need to be proactive about infrastructure improvements that make our city climate resilient, such as flood barriers, storm sewer improvements, and grants for homeowners to retrofit. I'd like to address the future of Troy City Hall. Excuse me. Historically, Troy does not have a good track record as a landlord or property owner when it comes to municipal facilities. We have allowed many of our buildings to languish instead of investing in routine maintenance, often the result of staff reductions and shrinking finance. That's why it was necessary to rebuild the DPW facility and why we no longer have a usable Nick ice rink or a standalone city hall. I understand the desire for a new city hall, but like the mayor, I've been around long enough to remember the devastating consequences of overspending that brought our city to the brink of bankruptcy. The math for a new city hall must make sense for the taxpayers of today and future generations who will pay for the construction. There are many priorities for our city-owned facilities, including construction of a new Lansingburg fire station that may need to come first. However, I look forward to meeting with the mayor to discuss their proposal, but offer my pledge to residents that I, along with my council colleagues, will carefully consider the costs weighed against competing priorities facing our city. And that brings me to another key point critical to our future: balanced budgets. The city council serves a critical check and balance in the use of taxpayer dollars against the overspending practices of the past and to protect taxpayers going forward. While we are in an excellent fiscal position, thanks to the administration that retired Troy's 30-year historic debt and succeeded in repeated bond rating upgrades, we can't be lax in our duty to keep a cautionary eye on major projects and costs going forward. We take our fiduciary responsibility seriously. Tonight, I am announcing the council will request monthly updates from our newly appointed controller at our regular finance committee meetings. We have the pleasure of unanimously appointing him, and we look forward to working together to keep our city in strong fiscal health. The council will continue to serve as a check and balance against overspending and will work tirelessly to ensure taxpayer dollars are used to maximize impact and minimize cost increases on local families. I'd like to close on another topic that often is not discussed enough: civic engagement. As city council members, we have a very direct connection to residents. We're often the ones who get called about the pothole or the trash problem in the neighborhood. It's important to foster that sense of connection between City Hall and the community, to pull back the curtain and inform the public. We need to be cautious about overstepping boundaries, though. As a city government, we need to be careful with social media to protect personal privacy and limit exposure to potential litigation. We also need to be mindful of how social media is being used to inform, not influence. Therefore, along with my colleagues, council members McLaren and Vera, I am announcing the need for a city social media policy. Many other municipalities have already adopted such a policy for their official accounts. Troy needs such a policy for accounts maintained by the city, including Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and other networks. And this policy would help to modernize how we communicate and protect against hacking of our city's social media pages. The draft social media policy outlines a number of specific rules, including prohibiting the sharing of content from personal or political campaign accounts associated with elected officials or political organizations to official city government social media accounts. Instituting a legal review of content by the Corporation Council as necessary prior to publication on city-operated social media pages. Requiring the designation of specific employees for managing city-operated social media pages. Obtaining permission before publishing photographs and videos with appropriate attributions. Prohibiting the use of personal devices to manage city social media accounts, and require the use of city-issued mobile devices or computers, and requiring two-factor authentication on those devices used by employees authorized to manage social media accounts on behalf of the city. I stress that this policy will only govern the city's social media accounts and their use by authorized employees, and will not pertain to any employee's personal use of social media accounts. A draft policy was developed previously and serves as a good starting point for the Corporation Counsel's Office, Personnel Department, Bureau of Information Services, and the City Council's Science and Technology Committee to collaborate in a bipartisan fashion to review and finalize the policy. In addition to the social media policy, we must focus on areas of transparency to promote greater civic engagement, including a FOIL tracker website, assurance that agendas are published on time, and all job descriptions posted on the city website, to name a few areas. In closing, I acknowledge this is an ambitious agenda, but one I hope we will tackle collaboratively in the coming year. It will require better communication, greater understanding, and patience. I'm ready to hit a reset button and hope we all consider doing so. Let's start with more respect for each other and the positions we hold. Let's keep our residents first and foremost. Troy is stronger together, and as elected officials, we need to communicate and cooperate. I want to thank you all again for joining us this evening, and let's move forward together for a stronger, brighter, more resilient future. The next item on our agenda is our good news. I invite all council members forward.
Did the Mealy family come up with? I've had him. You just be so bad. I just want to say thank you for coming tonight. We asked you here tonight, first, to draw attention to the upcoming Dustin Memorial fundraising concert this Saturday, but also for the work that you guys have done as a family. This is Lindsay and Patty Mealy. Joe couldn't be here tonight. He's doing the last big practice for the concert. But the Mealys, I've known them for over 40 years, right, Patty? They're a musical family. And if you know anything about the Capital District music scene, they come together, whether it be a fundraiser for a sick musician or something like this. And this Saturday is another meeting of what truly is the best musicians in the Capital District. The crowd is usually well over $400, and it is such a great cause. They raise money for suicide prevention. And I want to tell you, I know personally that every year it's not easy to put this on. But as Joe always says, we have to. No matter how bad it is or how it's painful, we have to do this. The cause of raising money to help people who are despondent and want to end their lives. It's just a very, very noble cause. And I think we all thank you so much for that. Yeah. Now, Patty, would you like to tell us maybe about, how much you've raised and who it goes to?
Here, before Dustin's dad had the idea to put on the concert, we just raised funds. We found support with AFSP. And I'm not here just to talk about that, but I'm also here to talk about the city of Troy. Because the city of Troy, I'm gonna get emotional. It's an anniversary for us. But Tom was with us when we lost Dustin. He was at our house for days. several days and helped us make funeral arrangements. We are, Dustin's a lifelong resident of Troy and loved Troy. He was a kind-hearted kid who would, take his, somebody in class that maybe was bullied or whatever, and he would take them under his wing and help them get accepted. But we found support in the city of Troy. And again, we love the city of Troy. The first year we raised, I can't even remember, maybe $1,000, $1,500. And then when Dustin's dad found the outlet, for his grief, so to speak, in putting on this concert, as hard as it is, the memories that it brings up, it began to raise more and more money each year. And I think the total is somewhere around 125,000 over the last couple of years. And I work for, the Board of Elections. We're not political, but I want to encourage these council members, these people that are here. Again, they've all supported us. A lot of the politicians show up at the concert. But I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing in supporting programs like after-school programs, things that support kids, because we believe at a young age, if a child feels like they have somebody to talk to or somewhere to go, it's going to help. It's going to continue to help. That's what we want to do. We want to bring awareness. We encourage kids to come to the concert. We have AFSC, NAMI, and Catholic Charities there. But again, you guys as politicians can do a lot to help bring awareness, talk about it, and help fund those programs like the Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club. They were some of our beneficiaries until we kind of settled on NAMI and AFSP, but we donated a lot of the funds to different programs like that. So again, we appreciate what you do and we appreciate your support. And if you have children, we welcome them at the concerts. They're free to get in. So come and see it.
Thank you, Patty. So as the council as a whole, we have a certificate of commendation from the whole council on this 9th day of March. Troy City Council presents this certificate of commendation in recognition of the 10th annual Dustin Mealy Memorial Concert. Whereas the council would like to recognize the 10th annual Dustin Mealy Memorial Concert to be held on March 9th, 2024, hosted by the Mealy family. And whereas the 10th annual Dustin Mealy Memorial Concert was founded in 2014 to recognize Dustin Mealy. And whereas the Memorial Concert's focus the past 10 years has bring awareness to suicide prevention by hosting an annual Dustin Mealy Memorial Concert. And whereas the council wants to thank and acknowledge the event sponsors. There's too many to list here. And all the volunteers for all that they do. And whereas the council commends the Mealy family for their hard work. So there you go as a family. And again, this Saturday at Revolution Hall, 6 o'clock, right? Doors open at 5. And it's just a great event. And hopefully, if you can attend, you will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good news. And we are very grateful to the Mealy family for their efforts. Our presentation of agenda this evening, we have one local law for introduction. We have resolutions. I will, at this point in time, move forward with the agenda. Would the clerk please read local law number 2?
A local law amending section 60-5 of the Code of the City of Troy, Councilmember Brosnan at the request of administration for introduction only.
Resolution 32.
Resolution 32, resolution of Troy City Council authorizing and scheduling a public hearing in connection with proposal of law number 2 of 2024, amending the Troy City Code, Chapter 60. Councilmember Brazen at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion? Councilmember Sorrento, second. Councilmember Keel, discussion on the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is carried.
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 32 passes. And it looks like it's gonna be, I think, March 21st at 5:30. Does that work for everybody? That's the day of our, finance.
Easy enough. So for anyone interested, that will be a public hearing on March 21st at 5:30. Resolution 33.
Resolution 33, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of agreement to share household hazardous waste collection and disposal services with the county of Rensselaer and the town of Bethlehem. Council President Field, I request the administration.
Do I have a motion? Councilmember McLaren. Second.
Second.
Councilmember Bresnan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 33 passes.
Resolution 34.
Resolution 34, a resolution to commemorate the life and service of Al Prater by designating that portion of State Street between 6th and 7th Avenue as Al Prater Way. Councilmember Brazen, Councilmember Steele, at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion? Councilmember Keel with a second by Councilmember Zornet. Discussion on the resolution.
Council President, I would like to also sponsor this resolution.
You can add us all, probably, and myself also.
Clerk, please add all the sponsors.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 34 passes.
We plan to say that there's, members of the family here. Would you like to come forward at this time, please? Together around.
Let's all kind of take our.
There are problems being grabbed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sign.
Yeah. Come on. Thank you.
Council President, I just wanted to add, I've known Al Prater since I was.
Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
He used to call me Barbara by accident, which is my older sister's name, who who also, went to school at Doyle Middle School, now Troy Middle. And also my kids, Natalia and Athena. They know you, so, good, that's good.
Thank you, well deserved. I just want to clarify for members who are here, and those who might be watching. All of these resolutions and legislation, were debated and discussed in detail at our finance meeting 2 weeks ago. So if it looks like we're sailing through it, we are, but we've already hashed it out in advance, so. Moving right along to resolution 35.
Resolution 35, resolution of the Troy City Council urging New York State to fully invest in critical water infrastructure improvements. Council President Steele, Councilmember Spain McLaren, Councilmember Vera.
Do I have a motion? Member Brosnan with a second by Councilmember Keel. Discussion on the resolution? Councilmember Brosnan.
I, asked the finance to put in a co-sponsor there.
And the clerk, please add Councilmember, all council members.
Yep. 35.
Any other discussion on it?
I'm excited that this gets done. Everyone here knows that water infrastructure is deteriorating, not just in lead service lines, but all across the road. And I'm just excited to first the state government to help fund taking care of people drinking water. Thank you.
Let's hope they'll listen. We can only try, right? Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 35 passes.
Resolution.
Resolution to praise the council in memory of Robert M. Conway Jr., Council President Steele, Councilmember Spain McLaren, Councilmember Vera.
Do I have a motion? Motion. Councilmember Soriento, second. Councilmember Keel, discussion. I think I said it at the finance meeting, but, I'll say it for those who are in the audience and do remember Bob well. He loved Troy, and, he will sorely be missed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries.
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 36 passes.
Resolution 37.
Resolution 37, resolution appointing commissioners of fees for the city of Troy, Councilmember Keating.
Motion. Motion. Okay, I'm going to give it to Councilmember Soriento and a second by Councilmember Brotherton. Discussion on the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 37 passes.
Resolution 38.
Resolution 38, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Colony for mutual provision of police tactical team services. Council President Steele, at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion? Motion. Councilmember Soriento. Second.
Second.
Councilmember Brotherton. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 38 passes.
Resolution 44.
Resolution 44, resolution proclaiming March 2024 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in the city of Troy. Councilmember Brosnan, Council President Steele, Councilmember Spain McLaren, Councilmember Soriento, Councilmember Kesey, Councilmember Keel, Councilmember Vera, at the request of the administration.
Well, I think that we are all sponsoring this, so none of us can really move it forward, except to say we are all moving it forward. Any discussion on the resolution? Council President? Member McLaren?
As the mom of a child with a developmental disability, I am proud to sponsor this. Proud to continue to raise awareness of developmental disabilities and, talk about the fact that, there needs to be more awareness, there needs to be more kindness. And I'm glad that, acceptance, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So I'm glad that, we are recognizing March, as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. And, if you have a family member or a loved one with a disability, a developmental disability, you know that, the awareness is every single day, but it is nice to have a month, where we raise awareness.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 44 passes.
Resolution 45.
Resolution 45, resolution proclaiming March 2024 as Women's History Month in the city of Troy. Councilmember Soriento, Council President Steele, Councilmember St. McLaren, Councilmember Roslin, Councilmember Casey, Councilmember Keel, Councilmember Vera. At the request of the administration.
And again, we are all supporting this, so, any discussion on the resolution? Council President, Councilmember McLaren.
I believe you touched on it, in your remarks, but, fitting that we recognize, the women at the helm of our city now that, so March 2024 is kind of a big year, I think, for the state of Troy and Women's History Month.
Indeed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 45 passes.
Resolution 48.
Resolution 48, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Colony for mutual provision of emergency vehicle operations force track services. Councilmember Casey at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion? Councilmember Brosnan, second. Second. Councilmember Vera. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 48 passes.
Resolution 49.
Resolution 49, resolution of the Troy City Council and Mayor calling for an increase in AIM funding. Councilmember Casey, Council President Steele, the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion? Councilmember Soriento with second by Councilmember Brosnan. Any discussion on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 49 passes.
Resolution 50.
Resolution 50, resolution appointing commissioners of seats for the city of Troy. Councilmember Soriento at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion? Councilmember Brosnan. Second by Councilmember Keel. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, resolution 50 passes.
Thank you. That concludes our agenda. At this time, we have our final public forum, which is on any item not agenda related. So does anyone wish to address the council? Please come forward.
Good evening. Hello, good evening. My name is Ken Diaz. I'm New York. I'm in Ward 2, right, with my own councilman. I don't want to start a negative, so I'll start a positive. So glad Carmela's our mayor. She found funds, she's using things, she's getting street lights fixed. I hope that is a new forward for us. But now I have to, and I will try not to get emotional, grown man. I've been fighting about my wall on my property for, I want to say 22 years. The Tungent sent me a letter, said the wall on the property is falling down, it's your property, take the wall down and fix it. So I did that. For 12 years, I fought him though, because it's not my property. It wasn't my wall. He sent me a letter and I have it. It says, take it down and we'll take it down and put it on your taxes. So I took it down. It's Trias del Soaps railroad ties. That word should just tell you it was hazardous waste. It's hard to get rid of. I paid for that. All summer, I paid for that. 2 years later, Russ Reeves shows up, who, for me, unfortunately, works for the city again. Russ Reeves shows up and says, Ken, we're taking the wall down. It's a dangerous wall and we're taking it down. It's our problem. I gone to the city and I got a permit. They said a section of the wall, 8 foot. The wall was railroad ties. It was built like a Jenga. So one board and then another board overlapped. Each board was drilled through 24 inches. A piece of 1/2 inch rebar was pounded 3 boards down. 12-inch scorpion spikes for $325 a box up there to drill in between the rebar. So there's 3 rebar, 2 big screws in each board. And that hits, there were 2 boards with the 12 and 3 boards with the boards are $300 every time I got a delivery. 22.5 ton of pebble rocks. I put a French drain in that was never there. I put it in so the wall would drain and not have a problem in the future. So 2 years later, they say, "Oh, we made a mistake. It's on city property. They're taking the wall." So I went to the police station and I said, "Hey, I have receipt for all this material I bought." They said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, I want you to show me paperwork where it was legal for the city of Troy to force me to build a wall, then take the wall down, take my material, my property now, and just haul it away. What did I get out of it? I worked all summer. I damaged my shoulder for the whole rest of my life, moving these lots around. I'm at a point now where the city is at my property telling me I have to cut the sumac trees, which I want you to know sumac is a weed, not a tree. When it grows into a tree, that means somebody has neglected to trim it, take care of it. The city came and put these rocks on my property after they took my wall. They call it shiplap. I'm not walking up this rock to cut these trees. You can't walk from the bottom to the top. They roll down the hill every time it rains. There's a fault line in my yard, at least an inch from the top, and it falls over. And now my yard is getting smaller, smaller, smaller. I can't put up a fence. I'm happy that we have a new chair and you're a woman, maybe 2 women running this might do something. But you said some words that really struck me when I was in the hallway. A quality of life. I've been there 23 years. I picked this house in the middle of one of the worst neighborhoods there is. I help all my neighbors. Your heater goes out, your lights are broke. They all call me. All right. I wanted to put a swimming pool in my yard. Can't do that because I can't have a 6-foot fence. Because I can't put a fence up the fault line. Because it's going to be good this year, but next year it's going to be halfway down the hill. So what I want from the city is either build a wall, because it's your wall. You made me build a wall. Then you took my wall. So if the city's not going to build me a wall, I should get my money for all my materials, which is about $34,000 with materials and labor. To take this wall down, pay to get rid of it, and then buy all the materials and pay people to build a new. So I did all this over a summer. There's no paperwork from the city of Troy showing that it was legal for Mr. Reeves to come in and declare my wall a dangerous situation and take it down. Not only did he take my wall, I bought the property behind my house so I could have an L shape and build a swimming pool for my daughter. My kids at 9. And I raised them all. Yeah, they all know me, walk like me, talk like me. I bought the lot behind me so that I could expand and have a nice spot for my kid to be. Neighborhood kid. The wall went down the hill, 110 foot long, 16 foot high at the deepest end because I live on the hill. So I start at 3 foot and I go to 16 foot, 110 foot. Then I turn a corner in the lot that I bought behind my house. And I went up 51 feet because the same hill was on that side. So now I have the hill encapsulated. I'm good, I can put a fence up. The wall was so dangerous and deteriorating that the city was forced to take it, yet when they took it, they couldn't take it and leave the 51 foot in my property, not on city property. Even if it fell, it wouldn't hurt nobody because nobody's in my yard. But they couldn't. They had to take 51 foot because it was locked together. So not only did I lose a wall that the city claimed was dangerous for citizens, but it was going to fall on them, so it was an emergency, they had to take it down. It was so strong, they had to use a machine to take buildings down to pull my wall apart. They took a wall 51 foot out of my own property, my property, not city property. If that wall had fell, it wouldn't have hurt nobody, it would have been on my property. So now I need 2 walls again. But where is my materials? If the city can't show me paperwork saying it was legal for Russ Reeves to do that, then it's illegal. I mean, it's either or. And for me, I want quality of life too, ma'am. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I don't want to disrespect you. I want quality of life too. I want what every citizen in Troy, if you have a 6-foot fence, you have a swimming pool. I can't do that. My taxes are the same, my land's getting smaller. They're telling me to go up here and clean this property. If I break my ankle at 60, I don't heal like I'm 20 anymore. My brain says I do, but my body doesn't agree with that now. All right, and that's just a fact. I shouldn't be forced to go up here and clean an area that the city created. City did it. Go to code, pull my file. My name is Ken Young. Please go to code, all at large, or pull my code file. The code man wrote on there who chooses what goes here, because I have to live with it. I didn't get no choice. But when it was forced on me, and I say forced with the letter, I had no choice. Either do it or put it on my tax bills, which I can't afford. So it can't be all right for the city to just do this to me. So I'm hoping a new council does something. And to be honest, I'm trying not to even look at you because 2 months ago I came in here, I was late for the meeting and I gave you my business card. Have you called me once? Have you emailed me? Have you sent me a text? Not a thing, and you represent me. I got all these people at my house again telling me I have to do something for a situation I didn't create. So I have a solution. My friend Dan Levesque owns Dan Gutterman and 4th Generation Ornament. Sorry I couldn't be here tonight, but he's in Kingston doing an excellent. He has offered to build this free of charge to the city. Free of charge to the city. The city pays nothing. And the only thing Dan wants the opportunity to buy a piece of land in Troy and grow his business. So that's between him, you, and everybody else. But I have a solid offer on the table to fix this situation before I die and my daughter has to fight with you. And I say you people not disrespect. But if somebody stood up and said we need to address this, it would get addressed. But I've been fighting for 12 years, been 3 years since they took my wall. Not one time, not one administration has ever said, Ken, come in and sit down and let's have a meeting. Let's go over your paperwork. Let's see what we got. Because your financial, your lawyers don't let you do it, whatever it is. But what I'm asking you to do is look into my wall and do the right thing. I don't know how else to say that. Very disappointed in my councilman. I'll be back next month. Hopefully, within the month, you call me, text me, email me. There's. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
You can ask me whatever you want.
Would you be willing to come down and talk to the personnel down here and?
I will talk to everybody. I've talked to people for, not a bunch of years that actually can do something for me I've ever gotten again. So yes, if you're offering me to come down, I'll bring all the paperwork I have. I'll show you everything I have. And let's try to move somewhere forward. But just keep putting it on me. It just, I feel like Don Quixote. People call me Don Quixote because I've been coming here so long. But I refuse. I refuse to die of this cancer shit or whatever and let my daughter have to deal with this. It's not right. It's not right that the country started this. And I like to tell them my grandfather taught me, and it's one of them old things. My grandfather taught me when I was younger. Don't come holler at me for how big the bottom of the snowman is when you do snowball top of it. Because the city of Troy threw the snowball. Now you want me to contend with the snowman. But it started with the city of Troy. That's just as simple as I can tell you. My grandfather was right all them years ago. I didn't throw the snowball.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate you coming. Does anyone else wish to address the council on any item?
Good evening. Reverend Victor Patterson, pastor of Fifth Avenue Lane Zion Church, Lansburg, the Ward 2. President, you said in your address, or thank you for your address. One of the things that you brought up in your address was housing and how you want to put a housing, committee together. This past Monday, I had the privilege of going to the legislative building, there in the state capitol with other pastors around, the state of New York. Also, other assemblymen and, all as well as, state legislators and senators and things of that nature. I don't know if you're aware of this, but, this past caucus, they have, started an initiative of fake house, affordable, housing, where, we are asking that, churches be considered and helping with the remedy of affordable housing, about allowing us to build housing on our property in order to help, with that throughout the whole state of New York. Fifth Avenue has been a part of this community for 196 years. The building that we are in now is not our original building. The building that we are in now was because of our original building off of J Street burned down in 1969. That property has been available. We're still in our care. It's been there, has not, we've been maintaining it, paying taxes on it, just been empty. That property is right above J Street. And I'm bringing this to the attention of us to say, hey, if you're gonna put together the task force, please consider the church. One thing that we do know, at any time political season happens, unfortunately, we see a lot of you at our churches asking for our votes and things of that nature. Then, after the voting season is over, we hardly see from some of you unless we find ourselves in the rooms and things of that nature. And so, one thing that we know that impacts us are housing. And so please consider, using the churches as a resource, or please allow us to be on this journey with you, because we definitely want to see Troy become better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Loza, I'm with 205 Ave. I emailed you guys, probably a little over a week ago regarding the smart meters with National Grid. I would definitely like more information and to see if maybe you guys would pass a resolution. Going forward with that, I don't think it's fair that they're gonna charge residents to opt out. If there's an opt-out option, there's obviously a reason for people to be able to opt out. I'm not getting any more service when I do opt out than what I'm already getting. And they want us to pay an additional fee when we do opt out of the smart meters. There is a resolution, or there's a bill in front of the Senate and the Assembly. So that's one item that I can hear about. Another, really just to get information back, there was an awful smell in Lansingburg, and it was so bad that when I went outside, I instantly had a headache. Nobody seems to know what it was, what caused it, or anything like that. I did call the mayor's office. I never got a phone call or follow-up back yet. And then the last thing is you guys agreed to a new contract with Mohawk Hudson for the dogs, and the new contract at Mohawk states as space allowed. So apparently they're full right now, and we have nobody picking up dogs. It is by New York State Ag to Market, a law that you have to pick the dogs up. You cannot just state to a resident that you're not picking up a stray dog. So I'd like to know what the city's thinking of doing for a plan going forward, because obviously this is going to happen. And we can't just tell residents we're not picking up dogs off of the street. It's a New York State law. So I'd like to know, and I'd be willing to talk with and work with anybody about, you know, where to go, how to go with the dog. I've been in rescue for years, so I can provide anybody with guidance, advice, anything, but I would like to be, you know, kept informed as to what route we do plan on taking, because we can't just not pick up dogs. And we went through this 3 years ago. So, I mean, it's not new, everybody should know this. So I don't understand why it's happening again.
Thank you very much.
Donna Favreau, 67 Excelsior Ave, and shockingly, I have an interest in the city other than drinking water, and that's Kinlock Park. So for those of you who are not familiar, it's a pocket park on the east side of Troy. It's very close to my home, something that my children and I used to use every single day, rain, snow, sunshine. We used to host pizza in the park on Fridays for community members to come down and eat with us. But the park has been shut down since last summer because it was in like phase 1 of revitalization, which is great. So over $500,000 was invested in this park to put in French drains. And if you visited it last summer and if you visit it today, it's a swamp. Absolutely nothing has changed. It's actually worse than it was before. The drain, it's not the pipes, but where the water goes down is actually higher than the rest of the field now. So like none of the water is draining. So I just want to bring that to your attention to those of you who are on the planning committee. I'm looking forward to working with the new head of planning. And I would just to put that on your radar because I know Kinlock Park wasn't on the list for phase 2 investments for this year. Other parks were named. But when they did all of this work for the drainage, they took away all of the playground equipment. So my child and the children of the neighborhood don't have any equipment to use anymore. And I know Sacred Heart used to use that space as well for their summer programs. And I'm imagining they're not going to be able this year. So I just wanted to put it on everybody's radar, whoever's on that committee. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council? Seeing and hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor?